Yo, what is up, YouTube fam? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video. What if Naruto was born early and fell in love with Kushina and Mikoto? Now, I don't know why you guys like these Mikoto ships and Kushina ships so much. I'm not gonna lie, they're interesting to write, so here you go. Part 8 of this. Like goal for the video is going to be 6 likes. So hit that like button, subscribe while you at it. My sub goal by June is 1,100 subs. I'm at 1,086 subs. So you guys know what to do. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if.
Don't be scared.
The rain hadn't stopped for even a second. It poured from the heavens like a curse, drenching everything in sight and turning the poorer side of Kumo into a maze of ankle-deep mud and foul puddles. Lightning raked the skies every few seconds, followed by sharp thunder that cracked like cannon fire. Every window in the slums was shut tight, and yet there was no warmth, no safety. Naruto led the way out of the inn, a thick cloak hanging heavily from his shoulders, weighed down by the rain. Mikoto, limping from her injuries, had barely made it out of the door before Naruto turned around and, without a word, scooped her into his arms like a bride. She stiffened instinctively, but said nothing. There was no room for awkwardness or pride. Not now. Kushina followed silently, her crimson hair darkened to near black by the cheap dye, though strands were beginning to run red again, trailing with the rain. Her eyes kept flicking to the rooftops and alleys with the discipline of a seasoned kunoichi, and her fingers were twitching near her hip, near one of the daggers her and Naruto had stole from Kumo's new weapon stash the night prior. The tension was unbearable. Mikoto said nothing, her head pressed lightly against Naruto's chest. Her breath was shallow, and though her cheeks were pale, there was no flush of embarrassment, no sidelong glances. This wasn't the time. They had maybe 5 minutes, maybe less, before patrols swept this quadrant in full. The entire village was in lockdown after the Raikage had discovered clear signs of infiltration. A dead body on the rooftops, snake venom foreign to the region, and footprints in the dust near a hidden weapons cache. It didn't take a genius to connect the dots. Naruto's plan was simple. Cross the western merchant district and escape through the ancient storm drains beneath. Disgusting, risky, but possible. But getting there, that was the hard part. The streets were crawling with patrols. Inns and bars were being raided. Doors kicked in, civilians questioned, and the storm made everything worse. The mud betrayed every footstep, and running drew attention. They moved quickly but carefully, skirting alleys and pausing at every turn. Naruto carried Mikoto effortlessly like he had done it 1,000 times. The weight of her didn't matter. What mattered was time. Then, as they rounded a narrow corner into one of the long, open stretches of road, Naruto and Kushina froze. 2 patrol squads just ahead. They instantly ducked back, hearts slamming against their ribs. Naruto pressed himself against the damp stone wall, shielding Mikoto behind his body. Kushina crouched beside a crate, eyes wide, her breath shallow. The patrols were across the road, just outside a bar, and they looked tense. Kushina slowly peeked around the edge. The shinobi kicked in the bar doors with brutal force, shouting something inside. She turned quickly and whispered, "We need to move now. They went into the bar in the middle of the stretch. We may have 10 seconds until they come back out." Naruto nodded sharply. "Alright, do what I do." Without hesitation, he lifted his feet and focused his chakra, blowing the caked mud from his boots in quick bursts. Then, while still carrying Mikoto, he sprinted up the side of the wall and moved laterally across it, using the vertical surface to avoid leaving any trail. Kushina followed, her sandals barely making a sound against the slick stone. They crossed the street like shadows, vanishing into the alley on the other side just before the patrol spilled back onto the road behind them. Once safe, Naruto dropped down, his breath steady. He resumed walking through the mud, and Kushina gave a low whistle. That was actually really smart. He brought his time. Fast and no tracks. Naruto didn't look back. Yeah, well, when I grew up in Uzu, if I wanted to train, eat, or avoid getting assassinated, I had to learn to vanish. I figured it out a month after my mom was killed in front of me. Kushina opened her mouth, heart twisting at the mention of his mother, but before she could speak, a shout rang out. "Hey! Stop right there!" Naruto stiffened. They'd been followed. He turned his head slightly. Behind them, one of the patrol shinobi stepped through a curtain of rain. His eyes narrowed, and he took 4 slow steps through a massive puddle behind them, hand already on the hilt of his blade. Naruto cursed silently. The rain had stripped the charcoal from his red hair. Kushina's dye was running too. Any half-trained shinobi would recognize the unnatural hair color for what it was. 2 Uzumaki in Kumo village? That wasn't a coincidence. The patrolman stopped. "Put the girl down. Now," and turned around slowly. Naruto glanced at Mikoto. Her eyes met his, worry carved into every line of her face. She was in no shape to fight. He tightened his grip on her. Nah, not again. He would never let anyone take someone from him again. His Sharingan flared to life, 2 tomos spinning with icy clarity. In one smooth motion, he turned his head, locking eyes with the patrol shinobi. Genjutsu surged like a flood. The man froze. Kushina didn't hesitate. A chain erupted from her back, slicing through the rain with brutal grace and piercing the man's throat before he could even scream. He dropped, silent and dead. They stood still, watching the blood spread across the flooded street like dark ink in water. Naruto breathed deeply. "We move now." Kushina nodded grimly, wiping rain from her eyes. "We can't afford another slip-up." Mikoto clung tighter, her head pressed to Naruto's shoulder, not from fear, but from resolve. They pushed forward into the storm, the weight of war, death, and betrayal soaking into their clothes with every drop of rain. 6 minutes had ended up passing since their desperate dash through the alleyways. Naruto, cradling Mikoto in his arms, arrived at the edge of the merchant district. The storm drain lay before them, nearly hidden by the grime of the city. Its iron cover half sunken into the stone. Rainwater pooled around their shinobi sandals, and steam still clung faintly to Naruto's skin from their prior sprint through the streets. The air stank of rot and iron. "Miko-chan," Naruto said softly, gently setting her down onto her feet beside the rusted grate. "We made it to the drain. I need to put you down for a sec and open it." Mikoto nodded and winced, clutching at the side of her leg. Kushina stepped in to stabilize her. Naruto crouched and gripped the grate with both hands, but the metal refused to budge. The downpour had slicked it too much, and his fingers slipped against the rust-coated bars. He grit his teeth, muttering, "Damn it, come on!" He stood back up, exhaling. "Step back, both of you." Kushina obeyed instantly, pulling Mikoto back a few paces. Naruto quickly flashed through 3 hand seals. First was the ox hand sign. It formed the base of a thrusting type structure for a ninjutsu. Second came the dragon hand sign, infusing the forming jutsu with power. Last came the tiger, channeling the fire chakra. Molding it into a controlled blaze, he whispered, "Fire style, flame scalpel." A blade of fire erupted along the edge of his right hand. It was crimson, wavering, barely stable, not hot enough. Naruto cursed and immediately dispelled it. "Still not enough heat," he muttered. He thought back to his lessons with Sakumo. Theories, ratios, flows of chakra, everything had made sense in the room, but out here, under pressure, shit was different. He tried again. The ox hand sign, then the ram for better chakra control. Next came the horse hand sign, known for channeling massive amounts of fire chakra. And finally, again came the tiger hand sign, to mold the element. He narrowed his eyes. Fire style, flame scalpel. This time the blade ignited in a slender arc of white flame. The heat rolled off in pulses, like a forge of roaring fire. Its edge was impossibly fine, quivering with deadly energy. Naruto grinned slightly, then activated his Sharingan to memorize the exact chakra output and flow. With one smooth motion, he slid the blade across the edge of the drain cover. Metal hissed and melted like wax. Steam burst upward. Mikoto and Kushina flinched from the blast of heat, even from where they stood. Once the cover was cut clean, Naruto kicked it aside with a clang. "Alright, you first, Mikoto," he said. Mikoto didn't argue. She crouched and dropped down into the sewer system, and Kushina followed. Naruto was last, pulling the cover back loosely over the hole before descending. As soon as he dropped in, the stench hit them all full force. "Gods!" Kushina gagged, covering her face. "This place stinks worse than a corpse dump." "I've smelled worse," Naruto muttered. The grim tone in his voice reminded them both of how much he'd suffered before. They moved quietly, sandals sloshing through inches of foul water. Moss clung to the sides of the walls. The only light came from the dim glow of Naruto's chakra, flickering like a soft torch behind them. A few 100 feet in, and Naruto stopped. "We rest here." Kushina and Mikoto both opened their mouths to protest, but Naruto gave each of them a firm push until they sat against the wall. He looked at Mikoto's leg. "Your bandage is torn. You'll catch some type of infection down here if you don't change it." Mikoto sighed. Pulling back her cloak, there was a large tear that streaked down her leg of her pants, revealing a slowly bleeding wound and half-loosened wrapping beneath. She reached to remove her pants to get to the wound, but winced in pain. Kushina immediately moved in. "Here, let me." Carefully, she peeled back the damp fabric, then removed the old bandage. The wound looked angry and swollen, but not yet infected. She applied a fresh roll of gauze, tightened the knots, and helped Mikoto dress again. "Thanks," Mikoto whispered. Naruto didn't waste a second. As soon as they were ready, he scooped Mikoto up into his arms again. They moved deeper into the tunnels, aiming for the cliffside river exit. Conversation drifted into ease, the tension. "Holy hell," Kushina muttered, breaking the silence. "Getting here was such a stressful event." Naruto let out a laugh, low and tired. What part stressed you out the most? Mikoto asked, smirking. When we found out we were compromised? When the patrols almost caught us? Or when Naruto fumbled with his new jutsu? Naruto snorted. For me, it was hearing that we were compromised. My stomach dropped. Kushina giggled. I almost cried when you failed your jutsu the first time. I really thought we were screwed. Yeah? Naruto said, face heating slightly. But, Kushina added with a grin, you look cool as hell when you pulled it off, especially when your Sharingan flared. I swear you did that on purpose. Naruto turned his face away to hide his growing blush. Mikoto grinned. Kushina's not wrong. You looked hot when that jutsu worked. You're the second Uchiha I know who makes the Sharingan look amazing. Am I right, Kushina? Kushina hummed with delight. Absolutely. That moment was kinda badass. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Wait, who's the first then? Mikoto smirked. Guess. Naruto frowned, already irritated. Fugaku. Both women recoiled in synchronized disgust. Ew, fuck no. They said at once. Naruto blinked. Then who? It's me, dumbass. Mikoto said, voice soft. The Sharingan looks best on me, but you make it look hot as well. Naruto blushed. It came roaring back full force. Mikoto giggled, and then her eyes changed. In a smooth, slow motion, she activated her Sharingan, but something was different. The usual Tomo rotated, but then bloomed into a new pattern. 3 red petals circling a black center, like a lotus etched in blood. Naruto stopped walking completely. His breath hitched, and he stared. Mikoto's eyes glowed in the darkness like divine fire. The pattern was unfamiliar, powerful, and impossibly beautiful. What is that? He whispered. Mangekyo Sharingan. Mikoto replied softly. Kushina raised an eyebrow. When the hell did you awaken that? Not long ago, Mikoto murmured. I didn't want to talk about it. It's complicated. But Naruto wasn't listening. He was just staring, utterly captivated. To him, she didn't look like just a shinobi anymore. She looked like a goddess with eyes forged from fire and sorrow. The torchlight of his chakra shimmered in her gaze. You're stunning, he murmured, almost involuntarily. Mikoto blinked, surprised. Kushina looked between them. A frown was starting to tug at her lips. Yeah, she and Mikoto were trying to set aside the pettiness, but when the guy you have a crush on is holding your friend like she's his wife, and then starts staring at her like she's the first woman he's ever seen, it's obviously gonna piss a girl off. Careful, Naruto. You're starting to stare a bit too hard. And I don't really like it. Kushina mumbled the last part. Naruto didn't respond. He just kept walking forward, his mind swirling with questions, awe, and a feeling he hadn't quite figured out how to name yet. But guys, I'm going to end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.